Alright, I am here with the review that everyone's been waiting for. The review that everyone's been so excited about. WrestleMania 9. Caesar's Palace in Paradise, Nevada. And yeah, this pay-per-view is paradise. This is just, it's exciting. It's not every day you get to review such a masterpiece of a pay-per-view. The world's largest toga party. They actually said that. And, you know, this is very well known for being Jim Ross's first pay-per-view appearance in the WWF, wearing a toga. And we have a great opening shot of Bobby Heenan riding backwards on an elephant, also wearing a toga. The opening contest, we had Tatanka with Sensational Sherry versus Shawn Michaels, and this was for the Intercontinental Championship. And this is actually a really good opener. Believe it or not, this is actually a very good match. You know, the ending was just kind of bland, obviously. It ended by a count out. It went a good 18 minutes. So, you know, this is the second year in a row that Shawn Michaels was in the opener. And, you know, this was when he was really building a name for himself. You know, he was already established. But, you know, this is leading up to the HBK that we all know. So, very good match opener. And then we had Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner before the Sirens and before the Royal Rumble 2003, before TNA. So, yeah, he's had a great career. Versus the Head Shrinkers. And this was a tag team match. This honestly wasn't bad either. You know, this went 14 minutes. You know, you had four, you could say four talented wrestlers in there. I was never the biggest Head Shrinkers fan, but I can look at it from an unbiased point of view. And, you know, the Steiners, you know, this is a completely different Steiners, at least Scott Steiner, that we're used to. You know, this isn't Big Papa Pump. You know, this is actually, you know, they're wearing the wrestling gear, you know, the amateur gear, so it's a good match. And then next up, we have the WrestleMania worthy match, Doink the Clown versus Crush in a singles match, and I'm a huge Doink the Clown fan, heel Doink the Clown. Yeah, I'm not a fan of babyface Doink the Clown. But, you know, I love, you know, Matt Bourne, the original Doink, and this match, you know, it's just very average. You know, they had a better match on Superstars after this, which was actually a pretty damn good match. But this, of course, was best known for the Double Trouble, I guess you want to call it, where you had the other Doink show up and cost Crush the match. And you had the kind of famous shot of them mimicking each other in like a mirror. So yeah, interesting match. And then we had Razor Ramon versus Bob Backlund. We all know how much of a Bob Backlund fan I am. This went 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I can't read. But, you know, there's only so much you can do in under 4 minutes. And, you know, this got Razor Ramon over. That's really what this was meant to do. That's what should have happened. And really just your basic match. Next we had Money Inc. We had Erwin R. Schweitzer and Ted DiBiase versus the Mega Maniacs, Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Hulk Hogan, accompanied by Jimmy Hart. not only did we have a count-out, but we also had a disqualification here. So yeah, that's always nice on a WrestleMania pay-per-view. You know, I'm not a fan of the Megamaniacs. I thought this whole rivalry was just bad. But at the same time, it's nice not seeing Hulk Hogan in the main event. It's nice not... Never mind. But we'll get to that. Technically, he's in the main event. If you want to get really technical about it, he's in the main event. But let's just pretend he's not for now. He's in a mid-card match here. All is fine in the world. And, you know, this is kind of your basic tag team match. It's very overbooked. It's kind of... It almost feels like a WCW match, quite honestly. And, you know, I like Ted DiBiase and IRS. You know, I think they're great. But the Megamaniacs, it just didn't work. You had Beefcake in that terrible mask. You had a Hulk Hogan with the black eye. That was either from... I mean, we have two answers here. I lean more towards one, but I'll let you guys decide. One was either Macho Man punching him in the face or a skiing accident. I've also heard a rumor of a boat accident as well. So yeah, there you go. What happened to his eye? Next up we had Lex Luger versus Mr. Perfect. Kind of a very iconic entrance with Lex Luger. You know, you had the sparklers and the mirrors, but this was, like I said in the WrestleMania 10 review, Lex Luger was meant to be the next guy. He was meant to carry the company, you know, I guess you want to say after Hogan. You know, lead into the new generation era here. It's a decent match. You know, it goes 10 minutes and 56 seconds, so they got a good amount of time in there. But, you know, it's just... Lex Luger can only do so much, and Mr. Perfect can only do so much for you. You know, it's Mr. Perfect. He's perfect. So, very kind of average match once again, but you do have a pretty cool pairing here between Mr. Perfect and Lex Luger. Like, looking back now, that's a pretty big matchup. Then we have, oh, here we go, The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez, accompanied by Harvey Wippleman. Another disqualification. Another fucking disqualification. So that's 3. We have a no count out and 2 disqualifications. 3 no contests at WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year. And this was before Saudi Arabia was the biggest show of the year. This is when WrestleMania actually meant something. So, yeah. Okay. This match is just... It's probably the worst match of the streak. You know, Giant Gonzalez, he was a cool character, but it's just like, he was a basketball player that was literally scouted out and had no wrestling experience. And, you know, it's really nothing against him. It's just this was a terrible pairing. And then we had the streak only continuing because of the chloroform cloth at WrestleMania. Yokozuna versus Bret Hart. Singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. 8 minutes and 55 seconds. Not long at all. I actually kind of enjoy this match. I'm a huge fan of both of these guys. You know, I think their WrestleMania 10 match was obviously better. But, you know, I'm a huge Bret Hart fan. I'm a huge Yokozuna fan. But it feels like they didn't really have too much chemistry at this point in time. And, you know, you have Mr. Fuji, of course, you know, out there throwing salt in people's eyes. And then we had the kind of squirrely finish at WrestleMania. And then we have Yokozuna, you know, getting the pin. And then finally, to top all of this off, we have Hulk Hogan coming out sticking his head where it doesn't belong. Oh, God. So we have Mr. Fuji basically challenging Hogan, saying, oh, we'll put the title on the line. Which I feel like it's kind of confusing because commentary was just kind of going off and you couldn't quite 100% hear anything that Mr. Fuji was saying. So I feel like people at home really didn't get that message. So yeah, 22 seconds. Here's how it went. Mr. Fuji, threw salt in Hulk Hogan's eye. He missed, because Hulk Hogan ducked out of the way. Went into Yokozuna's eye. Mr. Fuji got punched. We had a clothesline to Yokozuna, leg drop, and a new WWF champion. The crowd was into it. They were really into it. Okay. Let me explain this. I have some very fond memories with this pay-per-view, so I'm trying to be unbiased here. This is garbage. Is it the worst WrestleMania of all time? Maybe? I think I'd rather watch this than WrestleMania 29 or WrestleMania 11. I would. Personally, that's just me. I think WrestleMania 11 is worse. But I'm going to give this pay-per-view the same grade I gave WrestleMania 11, a D-. I almost gave it an F. But you did have a good opener. You had a good tag team match after that with the Steiners and the Head Shrinkers. So, D-. Maybe that's being a little generous. But yeah, this is a complete disaster. But it's almost like a so bad it's good type thing for me, personally. I don't know. I mean, I watched this when I was really young, and, and then after rewatching it again, obviously this is a disaster. But there is a little bit of enjoyment in there, somewhere. You just gotta dig a little bit, and it's in there. So, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. For now, this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.